Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. I'm Ralph behind the camera.
And welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And Ralph, we are going to do a stove exchange today. How's your back feeling?
Oh, my back's fine. I know our friends out there that watch the Cavalcade of Food love the stove swap or the stove exchange when we used to do it.
That's right.
From Kevin's cottage to, from one place to the other and get that wonderful kitchen cottage. Do you need an eraser?
No, we're fine.
So we're moving a 51 Westinghouse out and putting in a 58 Frigidaire.
Frigidaire. Okay.
Got it.
So that's what we're doing today, folks. And the beauty, of course, this has been a long tradition at the cottage. And I always thought, Ralph, once I had the kitchen studio and I had all my stoves in one place and easy to get to, not packed away in a warehouse miles away, we could do this more often and rotate these wonderful old stoves in and out.
And more easily.
Right, exactly. So no schlepping in the van, no up and down the stairs and all that. So here is the stove for those of you who've been paying attention that we've been using pretty much since we started with the new studio kitchen. And this is the 1951 Westinghouse. Beautiful range. This is a 40-inch wide range. This particular model has a single oven. Ralph, they made these with a double oven, so each one of these would have been an oven. This is one step down from that. This is a single oven. However, this is, instead of an oven, this is a warming drawer.
Or a place to hold your pots and pans, as most people do.
Yes, you can. Although, it also has two wonderful
storage
drawers underneath. And I will say that this is the original broiler pan that came with the range when you bought it brand new. And so you had these two storage drawers. And then let's look at the oven real quick. This is called the Miracle Oven because it was designed to be a consistent temperature at all parts of the oven.
Oh.
So if you had something back here or here or here, and it was 350, it was 350 all the way around.
Huh.
Not so sure about that, but it was a fairly accurate oven. It holds the temperature beautifully, and it's a nice deep oven, although sort of narrow. So there's the oven, but I just look at the details, Ralph. Look at the beautiful kind of notched and waterfall style handles on the range. It's got the same pattern up here, lots of chrome. And if you look at the controls, I've turned the overhead light off so that maybe we could see. Come close into here, Ralph, where it says left rear. All right. Now, I don't know if the camera will. We have so many lights on to do these episodes, it's hard to see. But it's purple.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see?
It takes a second.
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
Okay. You can see it more at the bottom.
Oh, now it's green.
Green is low. Yellow, it's now yellow, that's medium. Orange is medium high. And then red is high.
Wow.
And then you go to off. So those are what they call a color glance control. Mm-hmm. So that you could see, depending on what color they are, and the colors are all the same, you knew what temperature the burner was at. So you could look across the kitchen. Here, this particular, the left front, see this lightning bolt?
Yes.
Okay, this is the left front, and what makes this different is this is a Super Corex unit. You'll notice that it has one very wide element here, and then the other two are narrow.
You are correct, sir.
This puts all the current into this one burner quickly. So when the idea is this thing comes to a high heat,
quickly,
fast, the lightning bolt.
Oh.
The advertisements at the time would say it would bring a pan of water to a boil in a minute. Well, if it was a small pan and not a lot of water in the pan, it really would.
Wow.
It is a fast burner. And then you have the two 6-inch burners, one being the Super Corax, and then two 8-inch burners. Here's your oven control. And now there's two little lights over the clock. One has an O and one has a W. When you turn your oven on, and it's really hard to see because it's a dim light, this oven light, signal light, comes on. Yes. And it tells you the oven's on, and the light comes on and off as the oven cycles through. Now, over here, you have the warming drawer control, and it's either an on or an off. When the warming drawer control is on,
the W comes
this
on.
W lights up here to let you know that it's on. If this was a double oven model, instead of the warmer control, you'd have another oven control. That would say left oven instead of warmer. Then in the middle, you have your minute timer. So this is just, something's supposed to simmer for 15 minutes. You set it at 15.
Look at that.
Someone answer that phone.
Built right in. Nice.
Okay? And then, of course, you have the light control.
And a couple of outlets. One of them is timed, and one of them is automatic. And that was a very popular feature so that you could plug your coffee pot in the night before. And with your timer here, you could set that outlet to go on, say, at 6 a.m., and the coffee would start perking. That is pretty advanced for 1951.
Yeah, and because these controls have the lights on the controls are integrated into the fluorescent light that floods across here. So whenever you have this lamp off, if you were to turn one of the burners on, the fluorescent light would come on. They're tied together because you have to have the light on in order to have the colored controls.
Right.
So this is the 1951 Westinghouse. I believe it is a Commander is the model. And it is a great stove. Heavy. I'm just telling you up front. Okay? We got some weight here. We're going to have to move this.
I'll go get my back brace. And as Kevin said, you can go back to a few episodes previous to see things being baked or cooked or utilizing the stove, the burners, the oven.
Yep, and I have really enjoyed using this stove, and it is a real pleasure. And I think, though, Ralph, when thinking about a stove I want to put in, I'm going to alternate a little bit, and the Frigidaire I want to put in is a 30-inch model. So this is a 40. We're going to go to a 30. And so that'll leave 10 inches. When I built the kitchen here, I created a little extra counter that will slide in that's 10 inches wide and fill the gap.
That was thinking.
Well, when we were at the cottage, I could only have a 30-inch stove in the kitchen. That's all the room there was. But I have a number of 40-inch stoves in the collection, and I wanted to be able to switch out regardless of the width of the stove. So we're going to say goodbye to the Westinghouse, and then let me show you the stove I have in mind, Ralph, to switch. It's over in the stove compartment.
Wow, look at all those stoves.
So,
Kevin's dream.
Yeah, it's been a long time in the making, but it's so nice to have the stoves in one area here.
And the creaky floor from the old Ben Franklin, which we love.
Yes. So this 30-inch Frigidaire, Ralph, is the one I think I'm going to put in the studio kitchen right here. We'll take a closer look when we have it installed. Let's all collectively keep our fingers crossed, because you want to know something?
What?
When I bought this stove, it was in a garage where it had been sitting for some time. It was not plugged in. And of course, it works. All right. Well, you
I took their word for it. But there was no way to test it in the garage.
So it hasn't been tested?
No, there was not a 220 amp outlet in the garage. They had remodeled the kitchen, and they just put the old stove in the garage.
I hope you got it for a good price, considering.
I did, yeah. So I haven't tried it, but you know what? It's in really nice shape, fairly clean.
It is.
And
wow.
I'm going to look forward to using this Frigidaire. So before we can get this one in, we'll get the old one out. But I think this is the stove that we're gonna put in the studio kitchen for the next little while.
Hopefully. So everybody cross your fingers with us, and we'll be...
Right. Okay, Ralph, lead the way.
Thanks for emptying as much of the hardware off as you could, Kevin.
I took a few pounds off. All right.
Thanks for doing the camera work, Mary.
Yeah, thanks,
You're welcome.
Okay.
Because Ralph, you have your hands full. You couldn't do this too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. This beats getting it off up and down the stairs. Yeah. Go ahead. And make a turn there, Ralph.
Oh yeah, this is definitely easier than the stairs. That's for sure.
Okay. We're going to park this here for now. So you two can get to know each other.
Westinghouse meet Frigidaire.
Frigidaire.
But this is older.
They'll be neighbors.
Yeah.
So now, Ralph, what we'll do is let's get our 58 Frigidaire and are ready to roll here. So let's pull it out from the wall. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. A little bit more. All right. Yes. So
Get back here now.
I'll just do the old switcheroo here.
Hi, everybody. Okay, man.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, it's just something rattling around in there. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, Ralph,
Turn it around.
I'm gonna just kind of swing it around here. Careful. Watch the air return. I'm just before I get it in position though. Let's bring it down. Okay. Okay, and here we go. All right. Okay, I just turned the circuit breaker back on, Ralph, for our stove outlet. And before I push this thing back and kind of snuggle it in here,
You want to make sure it actually works.
let's make sure it works. So, first, light on in the oven. That's a good sign. It means the electricity is getting to the stove. So that's good.
All right.
And it's a nice big oven. You can tell here by the model number, RD3858. So that 58, Ralph, refers to the year.
Okay.
Okay? So, Frigidaire Division, General Motors Corporation, Dayton, Ohio. This was made in Dayton, Ohio. So, this, by the way, here, Ralph, I don't know if you can see, it has a little badge down here. It says Deluxe.
One of your favorite words.
Yep, Deluxe. This is a deluxe model. And it's kind of got this fun ridged drawer. It has a nice big storage drawer underneath.
Could that also be a warmer?
it probably gets warm when the oven is on, but not on its own.
It's
No,
not,
it's
not
really
officially a
just for
warmer.
storage.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, I can tell right now the clock
It's not working.
is not working. But, you know, honestly, Frigidaire clocks in particular seem to never work on the old stoves. And I would say more than half the stoves I have, the clocks don't work anymore. They just wear out because these stoves are plugged in for 20, 30 years and the clock motor just sort of gives out. So we don't have a working clock, but that shouldn't affect anything else. Let's try the light. There it is. How about that?
So far, so
Okay,
good.
so we've got our fluorescent light comes on. Now here's the oven control, and it has a little light here. So if we turn it,
It's on.
there we go.
Now, it is kind of
See
bright
that?
in here, so it's hard to see all
Yeah. I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
the little red light that comes on.
Yeah.
So that means I'm going to leave that on, actually, and see
if the burners work.
if the oven heats up. I'm going to put my oven thermometer here in. I'm feeling and smelling heat. So we'll leave that at 350 and see how that does. In the meantime, let's look at the top. You've got 4 controls that correspond with the 4 burners. 2 6-inch burners, 2 8-inch burners. Ralph, this has got the Frigidaire, what they call the radiant tube, which are these wide, flat coils. I actually like these very much. You have a lot of contact with the utensil with this kind of a burner.
Yeah, they're very wide.
So let's start with the right rear.
Is it heating up?
It's heating up. Very good. And let's try the left rear, the large unit. Yep, there it is. Heat and heat. You can smell it. It's burning the dust off. All right, let's try our front units here. Yep, there it goes. Warmth. And warmth. All right.
Frigidaire, 1958, replete with heat.
I think at least we can cook on this thing. Yep. Because we're at least getting our heat off of our coils in the front. Nice. I'm going to turn those off. We'll see how our oven does. I can see I don't know if you can see the element underneath
Yes.
is red, okay, which indicates that it's heating up and putting out heat. So we'll see how the thermostat is doing. We'll make sure the stove is level, something we always try to do when we get the stove in, because if your stove isn't level, then you know when you're frying, sauteing, you have butter in a pan or oil, it goes to one side of the pan or the other side of the pan. So we want a level surface.
Right.
But hopefully, I think we're in good shape here with our 1958 Frigidaire Deluxe.
Let's come back when the oven is tested for 350 and then push it back and show everybody how nice it looks back against the wall.
Well, good. We did our temperature test with the oven, and you know what, Ralph? It's only about 10 degrees off, so not too bad.
But the light went out. That indicates that the temperature was reached.
Yep. And I had it set at 350, and the light went out, and it was 360.
Huh.
So you know what? That's close enough. And yeah, wow. We are going to look forward to doing some good old cooking on this baby, won't we?
We sure will. And this is the piece Kevin was talking about that he had made.
So that kind of takes up the space between a 30 and a 40-inch stove. And there you go, Ralph. And so
No one's the wiser.
That's just how we like it. Anyways, it's all good. So you know what? Thank you for being a part of our stove exchange, and it was nice to do the old switcheroo and try a new stove that we haven't had an opportunity yet to cook on, even though we've had it in the inventory for a while. But that's the beauty of Cavalcade here to have everything in one place so that we can do this fun stuff and share it with you. So thanks for being a part of this one, and we'll see you next time right here on Cavalcade of Food.
Stay safe, stay well. Bye, everybody.
Bye.